All right. Happy Thursday morning, everyone. If you haven't noticed and you haven't been outside yet, it is brutally cold out there across the majority of the central and eastern United States. As far down south as Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, you're talking temperatures well below freezing. I mean, look at the Texas Panhandle. I guess that's what you call it. It's 8 degrees Fahrenheit. You're talking negative teens, negative 20s in North and South Dakota. I mean, it is brutal out there. I think the only state that is faring kind of well out of this, except for the Florida Panhandle, is the state of Florida, where you're talking temperatures in the 60s in the very southern tip of Florida. So you guys are lucky down there not having to experience this ugly, brutal cold. And I hate to remind you, but we still have at least a month left of winter. We still got some time for more cold shots and more snow, really, at that. But moving on here, this is all thanks to this high pressure that slid out of southern Canada, and the the clockwise flow around this high pressure is funneling down yet another cold shot across the central and eastern United States over the next few days. I'm going to progress this ahead here. This is today at 1 p.m., so Thursday Eastern time, 1 p.m. Thursday Eastern time, and this high pressure is just gonna kind of it's gonna be tranquil weather. It's gonna be very cold, but not much in the way of any storms or anything like that, with the exception of along the Gulf Coast. There will be some rain and maybe some storms down there, and I'll show you that in a second. But this high pressure is gonna slide to the east, and that's what brought us that cold shot. I'll show you here the 2 meter temperature anomalies. And as the high pressure slides off to the east, as you can see, then there is some relief in sight. It's not going to be a lot of relief, but it's definitely going to feel warmer than what it has been and what it's feeling right now if you go outside. I mean, I tried to take a walk around the neighborhood, and I made it around once and came inside and called it quits because khakis are not made for this type of weather. But moving on here, we're going to look at just a forecast for the weekend. Here is this storm system. Let me do some drawing here, just real quick. Turn it on here. All right. So here is this storm system that was responsible for bringing snow across the Carolinas, the Virginias, portions of southern Maryland, and Delaware. This system is heading well off to the east now, and unfortunately, that trough didn't have a neutral or a negative tilt that would have driven this sucker right up the coast and brought a nice I-95 corridor snowstorm. I'm still pretty salty about that. I'm not going to lie. Last week, the models really were showing, well, the European really led us astray. But that's why we don't really take models for what they are. I mean, we have to look at the overall pattern, and we have to know that really that far out, they have a lot of inaccuracies because one small little change can create a huge change in what we actually experience down here at the surface of the earth. But let's look ahead into Friday. I'm gonna keep that drawing there. It's not really that big. This is the GFS. Yeah, this is the GFS model here. There's not much going on this weekend. I mean, this piece of energy down here, that's going to be responsible for bringing some showers and storms along the Gulf Coast, especially Texas, Louisiana, and then as it progresses south and east over the southern portion, the southern tip of Florida, the Florida Peninsula is where they're going to get some precipitation. And I'll show you that here as it moves on through. And there's some precipitation there in Texas, Louisiana, and then the system dives on further south there. Let me show you here. There's the system right there. Dives on further south, and then over Florida, you're getting some precipitation down there too. But really, overall, most of the United States, I'll show you here the surface map. This is today at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then this is Friday, moving into Saturday, moving into Sunday. That's when you start to get some storms along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. Some rain, not really much in the way of storms. Nothing severe is expected down there. And like I said, that's thanks to that piece of energy right down there along the Texas Gulf Coast, and then that slides on to the east and southeast, and that's where the storm system goes. It goes on to the east. But really, it's going to be a very quiet weekend ahead. Not much in the way of storms. There is something that we will be watching for next week, and I will post an update on that later today. But I'm not going to do a video on it because it's too far out to even really start talking about. But next week, there is a potential for another storm system that cut up across the northwestern portion of the state and could bring some snow maybe some mix, and some rain to the I-95 corridor. But that's going to be a later issue. We're going to worry about that later. Right now, we can deal with this cold. I do want to go over snowfall totals because I don't know what it is, but the South is getting way more snow than up here in Pennsylvania, where we honestly do deserve some snow. Because over the last few years have been kind of really boring, honestly. But here and around 8 to 12 inches in and around Virginia Beach, Norfolk, I don't know how to pronounce that to be honest, and Hampton. 3 to 4 in and around Richmond area. So up in here, they got around 3 to 4 inches in Richmond, and then 2 to 3 in Raleigh, the Raleigh, North Carolina area. That's pretty impressive for down there. I mean, it's not the most they've ever seen, but the fact that North Carolina and Virginia are getting more snow than what we are up in the Northeast is kind of sad. And then they got around 4 inches in Greenville, North Carolina. That system is moving off to the east. No more snow. It's probably gonna stay for a little while, but eventually, once the temperatures rebound, especially more next week, that snow is gonna be gone in a matter of time. So enjoy it while it's down there. Wish it was up here, but enjoy it down there. So, all right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.